So we left off with a header component, an initial bit of text here in our div for the app, and then a footer component. Now what we want to do is place one more component in this application that does not talk to the back end, and that's our home page. And we're going to show you our first state change. So this text here, initial load, is going to actually change to be the home page and all the contents that I have on the home page when I click on the home button here on our nav bar. So it's going to include a click event here. So this is going to be pretty exciting. So let me go ahead and make a component, so a new file here called home.js. And what we'll do here is whatever you want to do, have some fun with it. I think I'll just throw I'm going to say reserve the H1 for in case I want to do anything with a logo in the nav bar. So I'm going to put an H2 on here. And that's good enough. So there's our home component. Following the same process, we'll go into our app.js. And so this is going to be part of our navigation. So I like to name these functions with nav on the front. So we'll call this nav home. And we will go ahead and grab that variable. Ooh, here we go. This is great. So this query selector is a bit different. So what do we got to put in there? So what we're looking for here on nav home, and I probably just broke my app. Yep. Let me go back and fix that real quick. Comment that out. So what we're looking for is to be able to click on this item right here. So let's inspect that home button. So this is the class that we need to grab, nav home in this case. That's what we need to look for. So that's something that's going to be important here. And so this is a class, so I will put a dot in here, nav, 2 underscores for me when I name these classes, nav home. So let's go ahead and grab that home button. And I'm calling it a button because I'm going to be clicking on it. And so now we have an event listener. And so what happens? We click on this button and we want to render the home component. So on click, we want to render that home component. Where do we want to put it? We want to put it in the div, the app div. Okay. Now we're starting to see some code here, or some repetition of a style, right? And how we select exactly where we want to place this component. We're selecting it by the ID or the class or whatever that may be. In this case, we're going to throw this in the div for the app. All right. Notice that this has not been referenced yet, so I don't have it looking for my home component because I have no reference to this function. So let's go ahead and throw this function in. Whoop. Now that I'm doing that, surprised that it's not yelling at me here for this component, but I need to come up here and import it. All right, there we go. So what we should see is a change of state on our page here. So this is going to be exciting. So here's our initial load with the text coming into our div. Now, when I click on home, notice that the page changes. Okay. Now I can't go back to that initial load. What I can do is shut the server off, restart it. We can go out here and see that initial load again, and watch very carefully. So single page application, same thing was happening in our React app that we demoed in the first video. When I click this home button, there will not be a blinking of the page, so you will not see any sort of a reload happening here. It's just a very smooth transition. So we've just changed some of the context of what this page looks like. It looks like we've totally navigated somewhere, but we've just rendered different HTML content on our index.html page. And ultimately the goal here is to keep doing these types of events to grab the values from our API and the to-dos from our API and to show those and replace this div here with this home component, replace it with the values, replace it with a list of to-dos when we want to show those things. So we're changing the state of this application based on these components that we click on. All right, so that was the simplest of the tasks that remained, only because we did not have to talk to the API there, but we did get a little bit more complex. We had to add in the event listener because we only wanted this to happen when we click on that home button.